Hello guys, we're back here again, and today I'm showcasing my bass drum triggers, which are pedal triggers by ontrigger. So those of you who don't know what bass drum triggers or triggers are in any way, they're basically small sensors which you apply to a drum head one way or another to basically register each hit which you are hitting, for example, to a bass drum. And these more traditional ones are often attached directly to the drum head which you are playing. And once you hit the drum head, there's this sensor which basically registers each hit. But these pedal triggers are basically triggers which you attach directly to your own bass drum pedal. And as you're playing the bass drum with your pedal, as you press it, there's this little spring which is attached to this footboard, which is then touching this sensor, which then triggers this signal, which is sent to a drum module, which then fires a sample of a drum sound. In this case, mostly a mixed bass drum sound, or basically any other sample which you wish. And what I really like about these pedal triggers especially is that when you're thinking about the live situation, you always bring to a live gig your own bass drum pedals, even if you're playing with somebody else's drum set. And then as the trigger is attached directly to your own instrument, in this case a bass drum pedal, as you basically bring your pedals anyway to the gig, they travel with you, attached directly to the pedal, so you don't basically need to worry about attaching and tweaking these triggers to some foreign object such as a bass drum of another drummer, as you often might need to play with somebody else's drums, for example, because there are differences in for example, to the rims of the drums, how to attach these triggers in the case of a traditional trigger. But of course there are certain things which might be basically a little bit like a moving variables in these pedal triggers as well, because if you're using somebody else's bass drum, the bass drum might be inclined to a certain angle compared to what you are used to in your rehearsal room, and that would basically result that as you press down the pedal, the spring of this pedal trigger might be going lower. But in these cases you're also able to tweak a little bit of this spring attached to your pedal. And then there's also certain things such as certain thresholds in the drum modules often that you're able to tweak those. So only basically strong enough hits are registered and then the sample is fired. And of course, in case these misfires would be happening, and it really depends on your technique, do you leave the bass drum to the head or not while you're playing, and what kind of stuff you're playing. But in case there would be misfire still after this drum module threshold, you would be able to also still add, for example, if you're using in a live situation, in live monitoring, or the mixer is using a gate for this trigger channel, you are able to add basically another layer still in that very end, which would basically cut out all those misfires. And it's also convenience to have these triggers and a drum module, because then you don't even basically need mics for the bass drums, for example in a rehearsal setting, but you would be able to use triggers to hear the samples of your kick drum, a mixed sound of your kick drum to your in-ears through a drum module, which would basically help you to hear what you're actually playing, and that can really make a difference in practicing that you really hear closely each bass drum hit when you're playing really intricate stuff. And that was actually tipped to me also by Jarkko once I took a couple of lessons from him regarding bass drum techniques, especially in the faster and more intricate parts. It's really good to hear in your monitoring everything you're playing really closely, because it really makes a difference on how accurately you're able to play. But anyhow, ontriggers, really cool triggers. I've been really liking them. Check out these ontriggers and do let me know in the comments if you have some other tricks or tips regarding using these ontriggers which I haven't mentioned, or something like that. I'm always willing to learn more. There might be a new next generation version of these ontriggers out already, or at least soon. Drop a like for this video and a comment, and subscribe if you haven't yet, and we will see you guys in the next video, which is coming soon. So until then guys.